Have you ever noticed it without being able to explain it? The way some people simply cannot tolerate a pause, rushing to respond and rushing to fill every silence. At first, it is easy to mistake this for personality. Maybe they're highly driven, or maybe they're simply busy. But that explanation doesn't quite land because this is not about their schedule. It's about a nervous system that demands constant stimulation to feel normal. Today, we're looking at the psychology of people who are always in a hurry. Most people move through life adapting to the speed around them. But for some, speed is not just a pace, it's an expectation, where immediacy and visibility become the absolute norm. When you're always in a hurry, you live inside systems that reward speed and constant response. But what happens to the mind when speed is the only gear it knows? The first main trait of people who are constantly rushing is their relationship with waiting. Waiting used to be built into daily life, not as a lesson, but as a condition. But in a culture built around immediacy, the nervous system is trained to equate delay with loss. When everything is available instantly, waiting can feel like rejection or failure. People who are always in a hurry don't just dislike waiting, they feel threatened by it. They're less willing to tolerate the middle phase, where progress feels slow and invisible, demanding instant results instead. In relationships, this shows up as a profound lack of emotional patience. They rush connection or force intensity. They struggle to allow bonds to form gradually, without constant reassurance, simply because they are driven by urgency. This brings us to the second trait, a deep, almost invisible fear of boredom. For a mind that expects speed, empty time is treated like a threat, something dangerous that must be immediately neutralized. Silence triggers anxiety, making it feel like rejection or loss. When the moment stimulation drops, distraction must instantly step in. Because they were never trained to tolerate unstructured inner space, boredom feels unbearable. Without schedules, notifications, or external pressure telling them where to look next, they panic. To them, silence doesn't signal possibility, it signals emptiness. But this is not just a psychological preference, it's a biological loop. And this is the third trait. Their dopamine system has become entirely reliant on instant gratification. When gratification is delayed, dopamine is released gradually through anticipation, effort, and follow-through. But for the person who is always rushing, instant rewards flood the brain with dopamine and then drop it just as fast. Over time, this trains deep dissatisfaction. Nothing holds their attention for long, and pleasure becomes short-lived. Because their brain has burned out its reward system chasing constant hits, instant gratification rarely satisfies them the way they hope it will. As a result, they don't know how to sit with uncertainty without collapsing into anxiety. This constant acceleration comes with a hidden, heavy cost. They move through modern life with a nervous system that interprets silence as a problem that needs fixing. When a situation turns unpredictable, their body immediately jumps to panic. They lack the accurate threat calibration that comes from slow, lived experience, so they believe urgency always requires panic. Their attention is constantly pulled in multiple directions, meaning their experiences rarely feel complete. Part of their brain is always holding back, thinking about the next moment, the next response, or how something will be received. Presence gets traded for precision, and protection replaces presence. People who are always in a hurry are often carrying a quiet exhaustion. They're managing complexity and constant stimulation, absorbing discomfort quietly instead of signaling it outward. They feel a subtle unease because life is moving faster and faster, yet inside, they're fatigued from constantly recalibrating to environments that don't pause. They rush because their system never learned that it's allowed to rest.
Understanding this is not about judgment. It's about recognizing that development is shaped by environment, and a modern environment trains the brain for vigilance and speed. If you recognize this urgency in yourself, the goal is not to erase it, but to teach your nervous system that the danger has passed. It is to learn that waiting is survivable and even meaningful. It is to remember that some things ripen and cannot be rushed, no matter how fast the world becomes. If this video helped you recognize yourself or someone you care about, you're not alone here. This channel is a space for understanding the quieter psychological patterns that shape how we think, connect, and move through the world. If you found this meaningful, consider subscribing so you don't miss future conversations. And if any part of this resonated with you, share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Your perspective may help someone else feel seen. Thank you for watching.